Let it keep rolling in. Barkley to the Eagles, Cousins to the Falcons, Jacobs to the Packers. We're just getting started. We've had so much break already, and now we're back for three of the biggest moves in free agency yet. These three faces on screen right here. What's this mean? Everything getting flipped upside down. This landing spot for Kirk Cousins does so much for every single piece of that Atlanta Falcons arsenal. Number one, what's it do to the Justin Fields sweepstakes? Because it's going to change that and potentially put a couple teams in a position like the Vikings where maybe they got to go after a Justin Fields. Kirk Cousins to the Falcons, baby, on this deal right here. It's $45 million average per year. He gets $90 million over the first 2 years and $50 million to sign, $180 million. Congratulations to Kirk Cousins. Barkley, now a Philadelphia Eagle. Unbelievable. The Eagles are stepping up big. They got Kellen Moore. What I tell you about this Jalen Hurts hate, get ready. Get ready for Jalen Hurts to climb back into everybody's top 3 or 4 NFL quarterbacks. We know he's a top 5 fantasy quarterback, but all you hating Henrys and negative Noahs and complaining Caleb's and Karens talking about just Jalen Hurts being not a top 5 NFL quarterback. Now you're going to blame it on Barkley. Now you're going to blame it on Kellen Moore. Now you're going to blame it on the Philly arsenal of talent. Well, do what you want. Hurts and the Eagles are coming for everybody, and they're gonna be NFC champs in 2024. I know it. The Eagles are coming for everybody. Jacobs, a Green Bay Packer. The Fantasy Football Show begins right now.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com news desk, here is your breaking news.
It just keeps rolling in. Three of the biggest pieces of news all day just dropped while your boy Smitty was scarfing down a little bite to eat. And we're back here doing another live stream yet again. With how many of you are in here? 70, 80 filing in. Hit that thumb up button on the way in the door. First of all, standing ovation. Kirk Cousins to the Falcons. London to the moon. Drake London to the moon. Bijan to Saturn.
To Saturn.
Kyle Pitts to the moon.
To the moon.
Atlanta Falcons to Saturn.
To Saturn.
This is going to be an unbelievable year in Atlanta. New era in place. Kirk Cousins to Drake London. Do it live. Let's go. Let's go. Appreciate everybody being in here. Please file on in. Breaking news. Kirk Cousins, $90 million over the first 2 years, $45 million a year on average, $180 million contract, 4-year deal. He's now the commander-in-chief of the Atlanta Falcons under a new regime, a coaching regime that knows what the hell they're doing. An absolute marvel of a duo in Raheem Morris and Zach Robinson. Zach Robinson, if you didn't know, was the QB coordinator over in LAR in the Rams situation, bringing over that Rams mentality. What he did with Stafford and Puka, Cooper Kupp, and Kyron, he's going to deploy in Atlanta. If you didn't believe me earlier when I said that this signing would happen, number one, that Zach Robinson would win the job over as OC in Atlanta, when everybody said maybe he won't, maybe he goes to Pittsburgh, maybe he goes here. No, Zach Robinson's bringing that Sean McVay system over to Atlanta, and look what they do right away. They go solve their quarterback problem and go get themselves a QB in Kirk Cousins. Now, I don't know if Kirk Cousins is going to be what he's going to be in fantasy. You know, I'm not pretending to say he'll be top 5 because the top 5, top 6 quarterbacks are deep. We're talking Lamar and Burrow struggling to get into it. You got Stroud in there now. I'm not saying I know what to make of Kirk Cousins from a fantasy perspective, but what I do know is Cousins has a particular set of skills that make him a nightmare for defenders that are trying to contain Bijan Robinson, Kyle Pitts, and Drake London, who all go to the mother freaking moon on this news.
To the moon.
And if you think that the Falcons are going to be slowed down this year, if you think that the Falcons don't have the ability to be a contender right away, you're out of your mind. And you may say Kirk Cousins chokes or he doesn't do this or that. In Minnesota, sure, they don't have a defense, but now he gets handed the Atlanta Falcons' crafty D with an absolute arsenal at his command. I would say slightly better than the sum total of arsenal he had over in Minnesota, given that Bijan Robinson is a phenom in the making. Bijan's going to go to the moon. This is fantastic. This is fantastic. Unbelievable. Yeah, what it does to JJ, I don't know. I got a lot of RIP JJs. Antonio's not happy about JJ. I get it. But, you know, at the end of the day, JJ will have to get another quarterback. And maybe, baby, that we're talking about Fields getting traded over to this Minnesota Vikings squad. Or maybe they take Penix Jr. Maybe they take Bo Nix. I like both rookie quarterbacks a ton. JJ did survive with the musical chairs at QB last year. Was he as good? No. But is he still going to be JJ? Probably to a degree. Is he now number 4 or 5 overall in a 2024 startup draft until he gets a quarterback? Maybe he drops in that sense. Kirk Cousins to Atlanta. One more standing mashed potato ovation because we've got people going to the moon, son. Okay, on to the next piece of news because it is going to continue to matriculate down your screen as we celebrate all of these moves. This one right here is crazy. The Eagles doing what I wasn't sure they were capable of doing, what they needed to do. They needed to put their balls on the table. They needed to say to themselves what I've been saying all offseason, that you have a team that has missteps here. They don't make it past the first round in the playoffs. They have not a balanced attack. They have Sirianni making missteps in terms of filling his spots once Steichen leaves and goes to Indy, once Gannon left and went to Arizona. This was a situation and did not have the proper personnel in place to support those vacancies and the moves that needed to be made, and they took a huge step backwards. But what did Sirianni do? Even though I don't love him in some ways, I love Sirianni in other ways. He can lead men. He can divide locker rooms. There's no doubt about him being questionable on both fronts. But what he did was bring in a man known as Kellen Moore to fix this situation. And already you have them putting their balls on the table, something the Buffalo Bills should have done in bringing in Saquon Barkley, something the Houston Texans should have done, bringing in Saquon Barkley, something the Bengals should have done, and the Eagles said, we mean business. The Eagles are coming for everybody in the NFC, and they're going to be the NFC championships by the end of the day. You watch. Jalen Hurts is bouncing back on a holy terror. This team is going to be unstoppable. Saquon Barkley, what's Saquon Barkley going to do in Philly? Probably not as much as he would do in Houston, let's be honest, from a fantasy football perspective. This is maybe not the most ideal landing spot of the available landing spots. Baltimore would have been pretty damn good. Houston would have probably been the best. Dallas would have been probably second best or first best. There's no doubt about it that the two best landing spots Barkley did not land on. These, no matter what way you want to spin it and get excited about this, Houston was number one. Houston was the number one landing spot. Barkley's now in Philly. And the number 2 landing spot was Dallas. Or vice versa. Philly doesn't throw to their RBs enough. Philly runs a ton. Barkley will get tons of run. Maybe they decide to throw more. Maybe Kellen Moore's system is going to be the difference maker in terms of throwing to the RB. So it could end up being the best situation at the end of the day. We just don't know. But on paper, history tells us that they might not throw to the RB as much as we want. This free agency is super crazy. I do love Antonio Gibson's leading spot to the Pats low key for PPR leagues and fantasy. Nice to see Smitty as well. Appreciate you, Aaron, dropping a $5 hauler. Aaron to the freaking moon. Anybody else says a super chat, I'll make sure to make it a point that I jump straight on the super chats right away instead of making you guys wait at any time at all. So please, if you drop a super chat, I'll read it right away. I'm sorry about the delay on that. Aaron, thank you for the super chat. You are the man, the myth, the legend. Barkley, $37.75 million, worth up to $46.75 million, including $26 million in fully guaranteed at signing per sources. This is exactly what I said had to happen for Barkley to be happy with the sum total of his not getting the deal he wanted, not folding and signing a deal last year. He got paid that amount that he got paid last year, which was above 10 mil. And now he goes in getting a contract that pays him, it's not so much about the yearly money. It's about the upfront guaranteed signing bonus. It's more about year one plus the signing bonus, bringing in $20+ million, in year one. So $26 million fully guaranteed at signing. That's what he's really about. That's what really matters. To get $26 million fully guaranteed is a huge win for Saquon. The salary per year doesn't matter. Too many people focus on that number. For an RB at his age, where he has 2, maybe 3, but probably 2 years left with a big injury history, to get $26 million guaranteed is actually pretty damn good. So Barkley, huge win, nice contract, very good job. As far as landing spot, Kellen Moore could change how they use the RB. Kellen Moore could change how Jalen Hurts chooses to not check down or check down to his RBs. There could be a lot of change going on in terms of usage for RB, and this would be the guy that gets it done. Not to mention, if we just think about it from a DeAndre Swift perspective last year, DeAndre Swift was not a between-the-tackles monster. If anything, Philly did great with him, and he did great with Philly. And he was a big sleeper of ours, and he delivered pretty nicely. But at the end of the day, in retrospect, Swift was not the right guy for the job. This is a guy that you want to give half receptions, half rushes to, and he becomes an Alvin Kamara type running back, right? They didn't use him like that. They used DeAndre Swift like a ground and pound, up the gut running back, which is what Barkley and Henry are. So this finally is a good marriage, a good match, and Barkley could have 1,500 yards rushing in Philly in 2024. Maybe he doesn't pull in more than 200, 300 receiving yards, if that. He could pull in more. We got to see what Kellen Moore does. But he certainly is a very solid option for the Eagles in terms of running the football, and he certainly could run for 1,400, 1,500 yards. So it's crazy. It's crazy because Houston sat on their hands. Maybe Houston did make a significant offer. My guess is that a couple of these teams called the bluff. They sat on their hands and they watched Barkley get scooped up quick. My guess is that, Kirk Cousins, Atlanta went hardcore at him and said, we're going to make you an offer you can't refuse. He wanted to go there anyway. And as I said on the previous show, it was going to happen. I mean, I said that on the live stream. I said he wants to go there. They want him. And Minnesota has been putting off the Kirk Cousins long-term commitment for quite some time. Whether it's dancing with the idea of trading for a quarterback, whether it's dancing with the idea of trading for this and that, this is a fantastic move for the Atlanta Falcons. They went all in. They went hardcore. They rushed it and pushed it early. They didn't sit on their hands. They didn't penny pinch. They brought in Kirk Cousins. They did it live. They overpaid to whatever they had to overpay to, whatever degree they had to overpay. If they felt like the market was this, they paid a little more and paid that. Kirk Cousins did well. Coming off an Achilles tear, one could say they overpaid, but it doesn't mean he won't deliver. It's either you overpay, get the guy you want, and I would have been fine with trading for Fields for a second. But now you got to ask yourself, what in the hell does this Atlanta Falcons team do with this number 8 overall draft pick? Because they've got Kirk Cousins. They've got Kyle Pitts. They've got Bijan Robinson. They have Drake London. And now they might have Rome Odunze on top of it, who I believe, even though I love Drake London, Odunze could become the next Jamar Chase and easily the number one option in Atlanta if he's drafted there. And that's saying a lot from somebody that loves Drake London. Odunze, go to Atlanta, please, sir. Wow, this free agency is lit. This is the most active I've seen free agency in some time. It's unbelievable. Matt O says Gabe Davis. I know, Matt O, we had a whole live stream on this. I appreciate you, bro, but you're a little bit behind. You're a little bit behind. We got people saying Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones, coming to that in a second. Okay, coming to that in a second. I'm trying to get through this. We'll get to Aaron Jones in 1 second. Jacobs to the Green Bay Packers. Jacobs to the Green Bay Packers. This one we did not see coming. Nobody really saw this coming. There was a lot of negotiation with Aaron Jones. There was potentially a move on from Aaron Jones, building and accumulating because Aaron Jones you could save some money by moving on from Aaron Jones, but that's crazy. Aaron Jones can now sign wherever he wants because he has been released. And I'll put that on screen as well. Aaron Jones has been released. Josh Jacobs is the new Green Bay Packer running back, which honestly is very exciting. Aaron Jones becomes now a player that we have to discuss on the daily until he finds a home. Maybe he finds a home very, very quickly. But now we got to throw Aaron Jones on the free agency board and mark off Jacobs, mark off Barkley. Henry will be next. I would not be surprised one single bit if Derrick Henry is literally gone off the free agent board on a team by the end of the day. After reaching an agreement today with free agent running back Josh Jacobs, the Packers informed Aaron Jones he is being released per source. Jones now will be a free agent and he can sign wherever he would like. Aaron Jones, free agent. Aaron Jones now in play for teams that might need a RB. Maybe the Houston Texans become a player. Maybe the Dallas Cowboys become a player. Aaron Jones is 30. Ziggy, how old is Aaron Jones? I think he's 29.
Aaron Jones is 29 years old.
Yeah, 29 years old, December. So he turns 30 at the end of the year in December. So he's on his last leg. I think a team could make a mistake by bringing him in and he can't stay healthy, although he could have half a year, one full year of good play. He looked great and elite when he got healthy and on the field at the end of the year, but he couldn't stay healthy. And that's the nature of a 28-year-old running back. When you're 28 years old, you have a tough time staying healthy. As a Chargers fan, what do you think we should do? As a Chargers fan, I believe you should have went after Jacobs harder. Maybe you did and you just missed. Maybe you didn't want to go there. I don't know. We don't have the full details on what's been going, the inner workings and the behind the scenes of the Chargers situation. But I'd say from this number 5 pick, you got to go Malik Neighbors or Rome Odunze. Brock Bowers is certainly an option. If you don't trade Keenan Allen, Brock Bowers could be the option and you roll with that trio. But I think Neighbors, I think you prepare Herbert with a new wide receiver, young, get some young blood in there and get a guy in there that can develop with Herbert properly. That's what I would do. Then I would also swing on over to we got to update this. Barkley signed. I'm going to make this nice and clean later. Jacob signed. Let's put that up here. Jacob signed. Pollard signed. Swift is signed. And now we got to put Aaron Jones on here. Woo! Henry's still available. Obviously, Pollard's in Tennessee. Swift's in Chicago. Jacobs is now in Green Bay. Barkley's in Philly. Eckler's available. Henry's available, and one of them probably goes very, very quickly. Very quickly. Aaron Jones needs to be put on the board here. It's tough to say what I would do if I was the Chargers. I mean, you need an RB. I would go hard after Henry. They're probably going to draft Blake Corum. That's why they may not address the running back position via free agency. They may go get a couple of young rookies. I think Harbaugh could think like that. I don't hate that approach. I mean, Braylon Allen would be fantastic, in my opinion. That would be the player I would go after. I would draft Neighbors or Dunze. Probably a Dunze, personally. I'd draft a Dunze, and I'd draft Braylon Allen. That's what I would do, if you want to know my opinion. I appreciate you dropping your super chat, my guy. I got 3 super chats here. Idea on what the Titans are going Pollard. Any ideas why the Titans are going Pollard over Spears? Spears is kind of a change of pace guy. We like him a lot. If I had to be honest with you, and Spears will no longer be a Moon Man, Mars Man, Saturn Man. He can't. It's just the nature of free agency. But I would say that there's a small chance that Spears and Pollard are the same player. Meaning that when they get the job, are they really going to deliver fully? Are they better in the change of pace role? Do they give us too much excitement walking into that situation? And then once they get the job, they can't get it done. I don't know. But the bottom line is that we're not going to see Spears probably get unleashed anymore. So we gotta temper our expectations. Jacobs to the Green Bay Packers. What's that mean for Jacobs' value? That means Jacobs is probably in line for top 10 running back numbers pretty easily. Jacobs, who is going in, I believe, the 4th round and beyond on Underdog Fantasy, promo code Smitty Drafts. Make sure you get on over to Underdog Fantasy, promo code Smitty. Do it live. Hit the link right now. I'm going to drop the link in the live chat. I'll pin the link in the live chat. Sign up now. They'll double your first deposit up to $100. But Jacobs is going to clearly climb. Barkley's going to climb ADP ranks. Jacobs is going to climb ADP ranks. That's the nature of news and what have you done for me lately, and the excitement factor that gets people all worked up and ready to go, ready to rumble. They want to draft these guys. I could easily see Jacobs climbing into the bottom of round 2. He went from round 4 because people didn't know where he was going. Now he's in round 2. Now Jacobs is a round 2, bottom of round 2 player, at least top of round 3. And quite honestly, it's a dead zone potentially for RB in that second round leading into all this free agency. And now we got a couple players that are now entering the mix as far as second round dry zone, dead zone territory. So kind of crazy, the evolving values of these guys. But Jacobs, I would say top 10 running back numbers. In Green Bay, he could have easily 1,500, 1,600 total yards and 10 plus touchdowns. In Green Bay, it wouldn't surprise me if he was well over 55 receptions. Those are low ball numbers. I'm not necessarily saying that. Look at Barkley's deal, 3-year, 37.75. This is unbelievable. This is such a great day for fantasy football. This is such a great day for NFL news. This is one of the most exciting free agencies I've ever been a part of in my 20, how long have I been doing this? I guess 23 years or whatever the hell it's been. This is probably maybe the most exciting free agency I've ever witnessed. And I've been doing this since Tom Brady entered the NFL. Professionally, I've been doing this since Tom Brady entered the NFL. And this is the most excitement I've seen. This is crazy. So much movement. We're not even done yet. Diana Rossini is reporting Aaron Jones already has suitors. This could happen quickly. Wow. Wouldn't shock me if Aaron Jones was in a new hat on a plane by the end of the day. It wouldn't shock me at all. And I think Derrick Henry doesn't last the day. I don't think Derrick Henry can last the day. Yeah, Wilkins, he also was a big news piece. We broke that earlier. Diana Rossini saying Aaron Jones has suitors already. This could go quick. I'll put that right here for your viewing pleasure. And let me just scroll through and see if there's anything else popping off right now. Aaron Jones, Jalen Hurts. Listen to this. Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert. Philadelphia Eagles are the NFC champions. The Philadelphia Eagles are the NFC champions. In fact, I'm going to go write that on my door right now. Right now, I'm going to write that on my door. Let's go do it live. On the door, Eagles NFC champions. Okay? And actually, you know what? We'll write it on the marker board behind me in big fat letters. Perk's dropping a $20 haul of Perks. I'm coming for you. Let me find a marker. Eagles NFC champions. Okay? Let's put this in. We got to erase this because we no longer, this is this board. We'll put it up. We'll put it up here. Ready? Philly NFC champs. What's today's date? Today is March 11. 3/11/24. I'm leaving that up all year long. Philly NFC champions. It's done. It's decided. There's no arguing. All my Niner fans that are going to come in and go, oh, no. We're doing. No. Philly has won. It's over. Kellen Moore. Saquon Barkley. Justin Fields to Minnesota. Let's hope that happens. We need that to happen. If that happens, I'm going to be so excited. I'll write Fields to Minnesota on my arms and markers and wear it the rest of the day during the live stream. Sorry to disappoint. It's still the Niners. I'm not surprised you say that. I'm not. Smitty is drunk. Yeah, because it's such a stretch, Jolts. Niner fan. All right, dial in. Dial in.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
It's over. It's over. Philly won. Yeah, B-Bird says they act like the Philly's done yet. They're not addressing the secondary. They're not addressing this. They're not addressing that. It's hilarious. It's hilarious that everybody thinks that there won't be more free agency going on for the Philadelphia Eagles, who, might I remind you, have made other moves today. Let's go to Aurora from Philly. Aurora from Philly, you are live, my guy. What can I do for you?
Yeah, Smitty. I mean, I didn't expect it happening just within your lunch break.
No.
But like our last call, kind of on your last stream, I know a lot of people were also commenting Philly or Houston, but this makes total sense for them. I mean, I'm a season ticket holder. I go to the games, and when I watch them, look like last year they kind of lacked a running game identity. But you see DeAndre Swift, he was fifth in rushing yards, and same as Miles Sanders the year before. So I just think, I know Kelsey's gone, but I think Saquon's just going to feast. And I think if you look at the NFC East, I know we talked about Dallas adding a running back. They certainly will. But so far, Dallas has lost Tony Pollard. Giants have lost Saquon, and the Eagles just added Saquon. So right now, yeah, I'm with you. Things look very up, at least for them winning this division and making a big playoff run.
Yeah, I mean, if I end up being wrong about Philly winning look, I'm making a statement, okay? You know, it's my opinion. But I just think Philly already was going to be out for blood because this whole notion that Hurts is not a good NFL quarterback is ridiculous. And people saying it don't know ball. They either don't know football or they're just a fandom, hater-based, take, right? It's no offense, but it's usually a Niner fan because they hate the Eagles right now. It's usually a Niner fan that says, cry, Philly, cry. And when honestly the Niners were crying a lot too. Can we just admit that? Like, there was crying going on both sides this year, last year for both teams. Like, let's be honest. I heard nothing for weeks about how holding this, holding that. A lot of crying going on instead of, hey, let's go run it back and just close it out. I'm not a Philly fan either. I don't want my Niner people to think I'm I'm a big Jalen Hurts supporter. That's the big difference here. It's not that I'm an Eagle fan.
You were high on Hurts before the 2022.
I was high on Hurts before the Eagle.
You've been high on
before
Hurts.
the Eagle fans even liked him. But here's the thing. I think that, like, even before you brought in Barkley, the Eagles brought in Kellen Moore to fix all the problems that occurred once Sirianni didn't replace Steichen properly. And you guys were like a headless, horseman. It was a captainless ship for a while, because Sirianni's like Campbell. He can only do so much.
Yeah.
He's only good at so many things. He's good at delegating and keeping things on track. Does he divide the locker room? Apparently he does when he's got to take on too much. And Sirianni has a lot of faults, but he does, in my opinion, potentially corral people together, hold it together. He's kind of a good piece of like glue for the team, but he doesn't do certain things well. When he tries to do them, he screws it up. And he didn't have the right pieces in place. Kellen Moore is perfect. Kellen Moore, what he did in Dallas, I don't care about the resume, like the kind of gap in employment that you could say it looks like when you look at his resume and you go, what'd you do in that Chargers situation there, pal? I can overlook it because I know what his body of work is. I know what he's capable of, especially when you give him the proper setup. Look, the Chargers feel like they're not a well-built like machine right now. I think Harbaugh's coming in to fix that, but I don't think it's any one person's fault. They just haven't had the right pieces in place. They haven't set Herbert up for success. It's been kind of a disaster there. Herbert's extremely underperformed. And I think Harbaugh's going to try and fix that and not put all of it on Herbert's shoulders. And that's going to be why this Michigan football is going to kind of like come to LAC. But as far as the Philly situation, Kellen Moore is the answer. He's going to create an arsenal.
Yeah.
And Jalen Hurts, he's going to get Jalen Hurts right back on track. And everybody that says Jalen Hurts isn't a top 5 quarterback in the NFL, not talking fantasy, we know he's a top 1, 2, or 3 overall quarterback in fantasy. That's not even a debate. But for these haters, these Eagle haters that say that he's not a top 5 quarterback, and I love my Niner fans. I do. But what's hilarious is that a Niner fan truly believe Brock Purdy's a better NFL quarterback than Jalen Hurts. They don't know. It's cute. It's really cute.
Well,
but it's like they don't understand. Like they just see out of one big set of goggles and they think it's hilarious. They're like, Jalen Hurts? It's anybody who would take Purdy over Jalen Hurts to start their team from scratch is out of their mind.
Yeah. I think Brian Johnson, if you just talk about the offensive coordinator last year, I mean, to me, he ran like a high school offense. So I think you're absolutely correct. Kellen Moore is here to fix things. I think they run the ball a lot more under him. How can you not with Saquon? I think it might include Gainwell here and there, but Saquon's like a 3-down back. And the other part that I would just say, and then I'll let you go, but Jalen Hurts, he, in my opinion, was playing injured the whole entire year. Like, I don't think he was fully healthy at all last year. I think it kind of showed, too, when, there's some plays where he made running the ball in 2022 that he just didn't even take a chance this year. So if he is healthy and you have Saquon in that backfield and then you pair in AJ, Devontae, Goddard, who I don't think is an underutilized tight end, I mean, I totally agree with you. It's just going to be,
okay.
The Eagles stock booming.
Who's talking right now, Aurora? Okay, Aurora, hang tight real quickly. Let me get Perps dropped 2 $20 haulers on screen. He said, thanks for the updates and putting in the extra work, doing it live as news breaks. Best in the business, hands down. You're my boy, Blue. Thank you, Perps. Appreciate that. Then Perps drops another $20 hauler and says, chat, there's 370 people and now 420. There's 420 people in this live stream and only 116 thumbs up now, which is respectable. But let's get that 402 viewership to drop 116 likes. Let's get that up to like 230, 240 if we could. Appreciate that. This is unacceptable. He says, hey, by the way, you dropped two $20 haulers back-to-back on a breaking live stream. We're getting out the briefcase. We're getting out the briefcase. $20 hauler celebration. Actually, 50. We'll do it at 50.
Alert. Super chat alert. Alert.
This one's for Perps. Appreciate you, Perps. $20 hauler in the house. Perps is the man. All right, on that note, Perps, appreciate the doubles, the doubles. Perps is the man. Let's go over to Ron Navy, who's live. Ron, as short as you can. I got a huge phone line. I'm not going to hang up on you. I'll circle around, but go. Ron, you're first.
No. Go to everybody else. I got to help the wife real quick, so
Okay.
go on.
Okay, thanks, Ron. Okay, we'll go over to Scott, Tyler. Scott, how you doing, by the way? You there, Scott? Okay, Scott. Scott, how you doing, by the way, health-wise?
I'm hanging in there, Smitty.
Okay, we're thinking about you. Prayers up for prayers up for Scott. Okay, Scott's going through something.
I appreciate it, brother.
Yeah.
The thing about the Dallas thing, to me, I think you're absolutely 100% correct. And obviously, that guy that's talking about Dallas doesn't remember all the money that Jerry Jones put in his quarterback and his running backs in previous years. You know, look at how much he paid Dak Prescott. Oh my gosh, you know. And the other issue is, I think Jim Harbaugh, if he just goes and gets one good wide receiver for his quarterback, man, and then he goes and gets Saquon Barkley, he's in. He's in, you know. And why in the world is everybody going to pay so much money for Derrick Henry when he's 31 years old now?
Let me just say I don't necessarily disagree if the money was actually big, but bro, I don't know that this. I mean, I know that some of these contracts are a little bit bigger. Saquon Barkley's money is a lot bigger than I think Derrick Henry's money could be, but you never know. But I mean, you're still talking about probably some very team-friendly get out after 1 or 2 years, and at the end of the day, you're paying it's $26 million guaranteed for Barkley. You know what I mean? So it's not like they're committing. That's like, in a way, still kicker money. It's like Pittman got $70 million. You know, I'm not too worried about any team having to be fearful of overspending on Henry. Henry will be a good deal. But I agree with you. Barkley seems like the move. Like, if I'm one of these teams, what in the hell were you doing? And maybe we hear that Houston was hard at work and he just didn't want to go there. But I'm not hearing anything about Houston even taking attempts and stabs. I bet they're sitting around a boardroom twiddling their thumbs. Maybe they showed up late for work. They're like, we won't get in early today. We'll stroll in about noon and decide to make some calls. All these players are going to be gone. Like, Baltimore, Baltimore better get on the ball. Bring Henry in and do. I know you're saying he's too old. I'm not saying he's going to stay healthy all year. I'm not saying he's a 1,200, 13, 1,400 yard rusher anymore. But like, he could get you 10, 12 touchdowns, 900 yards, be a difference maker, get you the hard, tough yards. If he's still got a little left in the tank, he may or may not. But Dallas and Baltimore need to get on the ball. Aaron Jones just became available. You know, he's 29 years old. Henry's 30. They're both older running backs, but you got to make moves. Eckler, I believe, goes to Cincy, but who the hell knows? These are all guesses, and logic does not always play a factor. We have no idea what in the hell is going to happen. Somebody in here said wrong again on something. First of all, we predicted some pretty accurate stuff too. Kirk Cousins to Atlanta. We, even before the live stream before, we even said this is happening today at some point because Kirk Cousins wants to go there and they want him. And Minnesota always doesn't want Kirk Cousins. They're always on the fence about it. Maybe this year they regret that. It seems like they want him back, but they don't. They said he's going to go test free agency. Make him an offer that he can't refuse. They didn't. Minnesota's always been on the fence with Kirk Cousins. They've always been toying around, flirting with the idea of moving on. Maybe we trade for a pick to get AR5. They want an AR5 really bad. Spitting in this man's face over and over. The same thing that Poles is doing to Fields. Oh, we'll do right by Fields. If they go back to Fields in Chicago, he's going to bust. He's going to bust there. They don't They're not cultivating him. He's broken right now. I don't know how many times I got to say it to people. He's broken. As much as I love Fields, he needs to go somewhere to heal. He needs to go somewhere where they'll take care of him, where he can have a fresh start and he can be cultivated. You know, Minnesota would be probably the most ideal spot at this point because we look at the board here. We went over this yesterday. If Chicago takes Caleb, Washington takes JD5, May goes to New England. We're just kind of feeling spots too, right? Giants, let's say the Giants get smart and they go, we're going to go after, let's just say they get a quarterback. I don't like McCarthy, but maybe they go McCarthy here. Tennessee's probably going with Levis. Atlanta now has Cousins. Minnesota is going to go Penix Jr., Bo Nix, or they got to go Fields. Denver's going to go Penix Jr., Bo Nix. Las Vegas, Penix Jr., Bo Nix. After that, that leaves one spot. If Penix Jr. goes to Denver, Bo Nix goes to Las Vegas, Minnesota's available for Fields. If Minnesota goes Penix Jr., Denver goes Bo Nix, then Las Vegas is the only suitor for Fields. There may be only one team left for Fields, and this was all contingent on Kirk Cousins not consuming the most likely landing spot for Fields, which was Atlanta. If Cousins was retained in Minnesota, and they kept him and they signed him to a deal today, let's say, Atlanta would have been the front runner for Fields. I guarantee you a deal would have happened. But now that Atlanta's off the board, the most interested team, we've got to hope that Minnesota knows what time it is, or Las Vegas, or Denver's probably not a good spot for him. Like, if Fields goes to Denver or stays in Chicago, he'll probably bust. It's unfortunate, but he's broken. He's broken. You need to fix him. I'm sorry, I got off on a whole tangent there off of your question. Scott, hang right there. Let me circle around the phone line. We got next up. We've got Rob from Hawaii. Rob, how are the waves in Hawaii? Hang loose. What do you hear? What do you say?
Hey, lovely Smitty. Hey, I just want to comment on your thing about the Eagles. Let's not act like they don't need to fix that defense, man. And they just lost to All-Pro, lineman. That's not easily replaceable. I still think the Niners in the driver's seat for the NFC. And honestly, I think the Cowboys probably can still win the NFC East, depending on what the Eagles do in the draft and free agency. I like Barkley, though. I think their offense is going to be pretty good. I'm no Eagles hater or nothing like that. I just don't think they in a position to make a run like with the way their team constructed right now. They got to fix up their line.
So I didn't hear you talk about Bryce Huff though.
Oh, I didn't even realize they signed him. I jumped in late.
Yeah. So look, all I'm saying is I get the Eagles need to replace some pieces. I get they need to go after it, but everyone's failing to understand. They've brought in Bryce Huff today. They signed Barkley today, and they're not done. They still have an NFL draft to partake in. The Eagles are so far ahead of everybody else in free agency right now, and the Falcons, because they needed that quarterback piece. I don't know what anybody can even say about the Philadelphia Eagles right now. The secondaries, they still get to draft. They still get to build. My guy, they're going to get better. The Eagles are just getting started in free agency, man. Like, it's going to get scary. It's going to get really scary. Every Eagle hater out there is every Eagle hater, community out there is going to be acting like this is a team that can fold, acting like Jalen Hurts has been figured out. Kellen Moore is going to be to blame as to why he's good again. Saquon Barkley is going to be to blame as to why he's good again. This Philly defense still has a lot of a tremendous talent. Scott, Tyler left. Scott, call back if you want to be back on the phone line. I apologize. I get what you're saying, bro, but it's hard to say a statement like that. We still got to worry about this or worry about that when free agency began today. It's not even officially began today. If Wednesday, everything kicks off, and they have an NFL draft and free agency to build on. Not to mention, how attractive is this landing spot now? How attractive is it to go to Philly to win a championship for a DB, a corner? There's still a bunch of rookies you can bring in. This is going to be a phenomenal team from top to bottom. And Philly's still a very, very opportunistic defense. I can't wait. I love that there are Philly haters out there. I'm not saying you're completely wrong, Rob, that they don't have work to do. But good God, bro. You know, I keep seeing people say, what about this? What about this? They lost this guy. What about Huff? No one's saying that they added Bryce Huff today.
Yeah, because the trench has never been a problem. That's the thing. They basically stole Jalen Carter last year because he should never fell that far. And obviously with Fletcher retiring, they're going to have them 2 Georgia DTs in the middle playing more. So, and then they got the guys coming off the edge. So the up front, their front seven should be an issue. It was just, I didn't expect Slade and all those guys in the back end of their defense to play so horrible.
Yeah, hold on 1 second. I want Sean's message to be read.
Sean John, come on, Smitty. Adding Barkley doesn't move the needle. Swift and Gainwell were really good, and there is only one ball to go around.
Okay. Gainwell, you're gonna come on me. You're gonna say, "Come on, Smitty. Come on, Smitty." You're gonna throw that statement on me. Come on, Smitty. Barkley doesn't move the needle. Swift and Gainwell were really good. Come on, Smitty.
Wow.
Sean, you're really going to throw Gainwell? Come on, Sean. I appreciate you, though, Sean, but that's not it.
I wouldn't say Swift that far behind Barkley, though.
It,
and I'm a big Barkley guy. I like Barkley. He was my favorite player coming out his draft year.
Let's go over. Okay, hang tight. Mute if you could. If everybody can mute that's not talking right now. Who was I talking to right now? Rob. Hang tight, Rob. Let me go to Sebastian and Callie, then to Travis Rowe. Actually, Travis Rowe is a Mars man. He gets to go first. Travis, then Sebastian, and then over to Ron Navy if he's around. Go ahead, Travis.
I'm here.
Hey, so I'm seeing it's probably still smoke, but the fields to the Raiders are starting to heat up, probably just because, process of elimination, because less and less places for Fields to go, So that's going to be interesting to watch. I still hope the Patriots go after him, but I've also heard a lot about the Patriots lately.
I've also sadly seen a couple. I hope to God it's a fabricated crap news. You know what I mean? Minnesota has interest in Sam Darnold. If that's who they bring in, if that's who they bring in Minnesota to replace Kirk Cousins, what happens to JJ? I know he can survive with bad quarterback carousel, but we don't want JJ to survive. We're not drafting JJ to squeak out 100 yards and hold our breath and go, damn, he's so good. He barely did it, but he got it. He got 100 yards this week. If Sam Darnold is the Kirk Cousins replacement, Minnesota is proving why they couldn't win. That is ridiculous.
And he's not going to resign. He's not resigning with them at all. If he's got to live with Darnold for a season, he's gone. He's going to sign somewhere else.
The only thing you could say is maybe they bring in Darnold as their backup plan, and they draft Penix Jr. or Bo Nix, and then we kind of breathe out and go, okay, I get it. Everybody needs a backup. I understand. That would be the only saving grace there. But if their plan is to bring in Darnold to be the guy and use the pick on something else, I'm going to be disgusted. I'll vomit all over my desk.
The other thing I was going to say too is with Jacobs to the Packers and Saquon to Philly, that's going to leave one of these teams kind of on the outside looking in for a running back between the Ravens, the Texans, the Chargers, Cincinnati. I know there's still guys out there, but in terms of getting a big name running back that could really help them. At least one of these teams, like the Ravens, I guess. Oh, go ahead.
I would say Jeff Okudah signed with the Texans, cornerback.
Good signing.
Yeah, Texans that's a good move. Texans woke up today. They said, let's go ahead and do something. Finally.
Yeah.
Patrick Queen has agreed to a deal with the Seahawks. Linebacker.
It was the Seahawks, okay, because Brianna said that, and I had seen the Dolphins too, but she'll be happy with that.
New England's are releasing Devontae Parker. Big deal. Big whoop. Hey, that might be New England. That might be New England's top wide receiver. that might be your golden boy there, Travis.
I think they're going after Ridley is what they're doing. I don't know.
Yeah,
if they get
probably.
him, but
Remember how much hate I got when you guys brought in Devontae Parker and I went nuts on a live stream going, what in the hell is New England thinking paying this man that much? And everyone's like, it's a great deal. He's fine. He'll be great. What are you talking about? Parker's garbage.
he was just a warm body.
Yeah.
know?
He had a pulse, so like bring him in. Man, Aaron Jones, where do you think Aaron Jones lands, bro? Where do you think Aaron Jones could go to Houston? It's possible.
I was gonna say Houston, maybe Dallas.
Cincy?
Kills Dallas.
Aaron Jones to Cincy to Buffalo?
Cincy, Buffalo should sign him. That was the first place I said.
Buffalo would be.
He always kills the Cowboys, so if the Cowboys don't sign Henry, I think he's from Texas.
Buffalo would be
Houston or
smart.
Dallas.
Can I just say that Buffalo? I always bring up the last year's bracket just to kind of show where teams fell and how they misstepped and where they lost and where they got bumped out. I think it's a good way to explain the missteps that these teams, like Baltimore not having Henry or Aaron Jones. Like they could go after Aaron Jones too. That'd be good for Baltimore. Baltimore doesn't get an RB in. It's a ridiculous misstep. Look at Green Bay. Green Bay fell short but played out of their minds. Probably played above their talent level. They got pretty further than anybody expected. And they brought in a running back, Josh Jacobs, to put them over the top. Buffalo bringing in an Aaron Jones, a Derrick Henry, and Austin Eckler, somebody to try and get over this hump here. Same thing with Baltimore. Houston needs to realize what they have, which, they made a good defensive signing right now, but they need to go get an RB. Singletary was good. They could bring Singletary back, but I'd much rather see them bring in somebody that can do what Singletary did, but on steroids. That's how good this Houston Texan offense is and how dynamic it is and how spread out it is. And the fact that, like, you put a Barkley in Houston, he rips off 5.4 yards per carry in Houston. That's what Singletary was doing. Singletary's good, but a lot of it's the situation, and you just have it amplified. I don't know. They got to bring in somebody into Houston. They've got to bring in a big, huge RB name that can deliver, though. I wonder if Eckler will... And I'm not saying Eckler's got a lot left at all. He could have a half a year or a year left, I think, maybe. Not to the point where I draft him high, but like in fantasy, he's going like in round, I don't know, 6 right now? Like, that's not bad in fantasy at all. That's a good gamble to take, but... I'm refreshing over and over. All right, Travis, hang tight. Let me go to Sebastian real quick. Sebastian, you're live real quick. What's up, my guy?
I think the people that are saying the 49ers are better than the Eagles going into next year have not faced reality and are kind of delusional. You got a 28-year-old Christian McCaffrey. You got an aging Trent Williams. You're in cap hell. You got a Deebo who's injury prone. You got a Brock Purdy who needs everything to go right around him. And the Eagles were still very solid before they even had Barkley. And I really do think that they're getting the right systems in place. That's just what I had to say about that. But what I wanted to ask is, what do you think the Chargers do? Because they've been pretty quiet.
I don't know, man. I'm not saying that Harbaugh will fail. I'm not saying that, but I think people's expectation is a little too lofty in year one. And he hasn't been, obviously he coached in the NFL, he coached the Niners, he's had success at the NFL level, but he's been in college for a little while now. So I don't know how quickly it's going to translate. And again, I think that everybody that thinks that Herbert's going to go nuts and this offense is going to be off the chain, they got to realize that this guy was very balanced. It was defensive oriented. I just don't know. I don't know what to make of it. I don't know how. I don't know. I think they sat on their hands. Maybe we'll find out that they weren't aggressively going after Barkley, but why you wouldn't go after Barkley? Why you wouldn't go after Jacobs? Maybe we'll find out they did, but I don't know. Are they not going to even attempt to get Derrick Henry? Are they not going to attempt to get Aaron Jones? Or are they just going to wait until the draft? How is he wanting to build this thing up? I don't know. All I know is that they need to do something. There's talk about shopping Keenan Allen. I think we'll know where Harbaugh's head is at if at number 5 he takes Malik Neighbors, Odunze, or Bowers, or he doesn't. Because if he doesn't take one of those 3 players, I don't know what he's doing. I don't know that I believe in exactly what he's doing, at least right out of the gate. I'm not saying he'll bust. I'm just saying that I don't think it'll be this quick turnaround for Harbaugh in LAC. Chargers have a lot of work to do.
Oh, no, they definitely need to blow it all up and start from square one again. That team is way too old.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I got a lot of Niner fans that follow me, and I love my Niner people. I never throw shade at the Niner community ever. I love the Niner community. I always tell them they're one of the most loyal fan bases. The one thing I do say negatively toward the Niner fan base is they're very vicious to their players, man. Like when Debo held out, they were so rude and obnoxious to him. And if Ayuk demands a trade, which I think Ayuk will 100% demand a trade, if the Niners don't step up and give him a contract before the NFL draft, because he's watching T. Higgins demand a trade, he's watching Pittman get a big fat deal, and T. Higgins demanding a trade is smart because the suitors for him in said trades would be off the table once they fill their wide receiver rooms with rookies. So if Ayuk and his camp is smart, they say you have to demand a trade before the NFL draft, because if you don't, all of your options go out the window when these teams fill all their voids. No one's going to go after Ayuk later on when they've drafted rookies, they've got their wide receiver rooms buttoned up, and you've got 2 or 3 options at play instead of 10 or 12. Right now, Ayuk's a hot commodity. No one's saying Ayuk gets traded. So if my Niner fan base is flipping out in the Instagram chat right now, because I'm live on IG as well, you know, you're probably flipping out going, oh, he's not getting traded. I'm not saying he gets traded, but I'm saying the Niner way of waiting until August to extend a player is going to piss Ayuk off, and he's going to demand a trade. And as he should probably, if they're not going to pay him up front. Not to mention, giving him an extension frees up a bunch of money, because it'll be cheaper in year 1 than it would be on the 5th-year option. So I don't know. Ridiculous the way the Niners approach their offseason. It's why Debo was garbage his first year on the new deal, because he held out all year, wasn't prepared. He's out of shape. He admitted that. He was very bitter about it too. If you notice, when he talked about it with Shanahan, he said they put it behind him. Debo had very, very careful words that he used, where he said they had a talk. He never wants to put film out there again like that, meaning he was so bad on film to himself. He's like, I look like garbage. I played like garbage. I was overweight.
Disappointed for him and his fans.
Yeah, but he came away from that meeting saying we put it behind us, meaning bygones. They left it all behind him, but he was mad. He was mad at how they put him up and set him up for failure, because he had to take that approach. Now, you could say he's under contract. It's his fault for holding out. I get that. But the NFL is a very, very normal standard, and it's very accepted behavior for a contract year player to hold out. You know, that's just the way it is. It's very, very widely accepted. And the Niner way just confuses the hell out of me, because all you do is create animosity between the player and fan base, the player and the team, and you're eventually going to give them the money anyway. So why not do it up front, so you don't have to create all this craziness? Because Ayuk is going to be forced to ask for a trade. Otherwise, what leverage does he have? Because if he waits until September, they're going to go, here's your offer, and he has very little time to react and no trade partners.
He's like, take it or leave it. And
yeah,
then he's got to do it again this year.
Yeah, trust us, and then here's your lowball offer. You know, not to mention the Niners are going to tuck away a certain amount that they want to spend, and it won't go up based on the other signings. Like if it's $22 million a year, $23 million a year, it doesn't matter if another Christian Kirk situation happens last year. Remember, Christian Kirk got Christian Kirk money? We kept using that term. Niners are going to set aside this money, and that's it. They're going to offer to him, and that's it. You might as well get used to it now. All right, hang tight, Sebastian. Let me circle back around to you. Let me go over to Ron Navy and then to Brogan. Ron Navy, you're live.
What's up, Smitty?
Your boy Kirk throwing to Bijan in the backfield. Your boy Kirk throwing to London. Your boy Kirk is finally appreciated and loved.
Well, everybody that is going to try to get on the Cousins bandwagon this year.
You ain't letting it
you don't
happen.
have a Cousins. Your Cousins card was revoked a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I'm handing out all the Cousins cards because I've always been behind Cousins.
I could get behind
everybody
that.
else, their Cousins card's gone.
Yeah, I can get behind that.
Don't even talk good about them.
Ron's very, very pro Cousins. But Ron, you did say that the Minnesota Vikings. You
I
did.
know Perps is watching this, but Perps, your team is Bantha fodder now. The Minnesota Vikings are crap. You were okay with Cousins leaving. You guys are. JJ's going to suffer. Addison. I mean, it's just Bantha fodder. They're not going. They'll be lucky to finish third, they'll finish above the Bears in the NFC North, and that's it. They're going to be totally crap.
I do wonder what
Vikings are done.
I do wonder what Perps is going to say to that, but I also wonder what he hopes happens at this point. If they draft Penix Jr. or Bo Nix, though, that'll be good for the long term. No. I really do think that could be good for the long term. It could definitely have them kind of resetting a little bit, which I think Perps was prepared for. If I remember Perps' conversation, Perps, by the way, huge Vikings fan. I think he was more prepared for let's rebuild for a year or two around JJ and Penix Jr. or Bo Nix versus having them continuously doubt whether they want to go down this road and dance with Kirk Cousins another day. And I'm glad Kirk Cousins got out because I don't think I don't think he deserved to be there. Or I don't think the Vikings deserved.
Yeah. Here's what I want to get back onto. Screw the Vikings. I'm done talking about the Vikings. I don't care about the Vikings. They're Bantha fodder. But here's what I'm going to say. This is what I'm going to say, Smitty. Bijan will be the number one running back for pass catching and running. I think he's going to do 1,200 this year.
Now hold on a second. I'm taking away your Bijan card as you come in trying to take away everyone's Cousins card because you were just saying he was going to fall to the fourth round.
No, that's because they got Cousins. I told you I was waiting to see what they were going to do. So Bijan will get 1,200, and he will get double-digit touchdowns easy. Okay, Pitts, we're finally going to realize the value in Pitts. Cousins is going to bring out the best in Pitts. Pitts is going to be 1,200 yards. 9 touchdowns, I say, and London will be over 1,300 yards. And
he was just doubting Bijan not too long ago.
That's my prediction.
I appreciate that, but we're not letting you take the Bijan predictions away from. You could have Kirk Cousins predictions all you want.
No, you can't do that. That's what Bijan's going to do because finally got the piece.
I know. He's going to be number one running back.
He likes throwing to the running back.
Running back one.
They finally got that they're missing, and so Bijan, and then they got a new coaching staff that'll hopefully use Bijan the way he's supposed to. But Cousins was the key, and Cousins is the type of person. He averages over 4,000 yards a season, except when he's injured. He gets over 30 touchdowns normally. So Atlanta, you say Philly's going to win the championship. I think Atlanta's going to win the NFC championship. I think they're going to surprise everybody. We all forget Philly totally crapped the bed last year. He lost his locker room. The players weren't playing worth nothing. Everybody wants to forget that Philly totally dropped the ball and was playing like Bantha fodder last year at the end of the season. AJ had problems. Hurts had problems because of the coaching. Coaching was they just totally dropped the ball, and I don't see Philly doing it this year. Hurts is great. I don't disagree with that. I think Hurts is a great quarterback, but I don't see him winning the NFC Championship.
All right, hang tight, Ron. Let me circle around. I appreciate the takes. Bijan Robinson, running back one, got their shirt on.
See Xavier McKinney signed the Packers.
Did he? That's good. Packers making moves. Man. Packers making moves. There's a lot of teams making moves. This is crazy, man. This is the most exciting free agency that we've seen.
Giants officially rebuild now. Giants have to rebuild. They can't fool themselves anymore.
Yeah. Giants. If I got any Giant fans in here, put your earmuffs on. But the Giants just completely got kicked right in the sack. Not bringing Barkley back.
Tough day.
Not understanding that Barkley was the keep, not Danny Dimes. That was a huge misstep. And then now you watch the Eagles get Saquon Barkley. What a disaster. If you're the Eagles, if you're the Giants, your only saving grace is to trade for Justin Fields and draft one of Odunze or Neighbors and fix it and right your wrongs. Otherwise, you're going to be a joke. The Giants are going to be a joke. They already are. Like, really, Danny Dimes?
Dayball can do something with Fields, too. I really believe that.
I know. He could. He absolutely could. But it's an absolute joke. Drake London to the moon says, Fallen. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. But keep in mind, they might really draft Odunze, too. And Odunze is going to be the number 1 there if they draft Odunze at number 8.
The Giants are saved. They're signing Singletary.
I mean, I like him, but he's not going to have success there, unfortunately, for Singletary. Because, I mean, Barkley struggled to get the ball. And, good God, man. Giants are a joke.
Reality check for Giants.
It's different running behind New York's O-line than Houston, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I just saw a stat.
Not to mention the
Barkley
vulture.
got hit behind the line. Barkley got hit behind the line of scrimmage 46% of the time. Every other carry.
Here's the Singletary. Jeremy Fowler, source Singletary to the Giants. What a debacle, bro. What a debacle. I mean, to be a Giants fan right now, you got to be like, I'm done. I'm done.
Rebuild mode.
Who's laughing? Who is that? Brogan?
Sorry.
Brogan, while you're obnoxiously interrupting the show with your laugh, go ahead. What can we do for you, Brogan?
My apologies.
Don't apologize for being you, Brogan. Don't ever apologize for being Brogan. Go ahead.
Look, New Jersey is spinning their heads around. I feel like there is just no decision making there. I feel like they're just kind of just hitting random things here. But yeah, I feel like Daniel Jones should convert to a running back or a wide receiver at this point. He's not a quarterback that can play at the NFL level. I feel like they should just trade for Justin Fields. But to Kirk to Atlanta, man, as a Pitts owner, I'm just very happy for it.
I mean, how can you not be? It's like a upgrade. No matter what, it's an upgrade, right? But like, you're getting a guy that likes to throw the ball, and you got an OC who likes to throw the ball. You got an OC that turned Kyron Williams into a monster, helped turn him into a monster. You got an OC in Zach Robinson from the Rams that was used to using one RB. Kyron Williams was the only thing going on, and Zach Robinson tooled everything around using one running back. So my guess, if you put 1-on-1 together and get 5, is that Zach Robinson's going to say, Bijan Robinson's my new Kyron. Drake London and Odunze, if they draft him, and I think they probably will, are my new Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. And Kyle Pitts, I've never seen the likes of a tight end like this before in one of my... let's let it ride. This is going to be a phenomenal team. They've got a good defense. They're going to be contenders immediately. They were, whether they got Fields or they got Cousins, they were contenders immediately. I don't know how quickly. It could be right away. It might not. They might not be Super Bowl contenders, but they're absolutely playoff, potentially deep winning teams. With some of these moves, the Falcons definitely feel like they can not only make the playoffs but win playoff games. And who the hell knows? The sky's the limit for this team. They're so loaded. This is one of the most talented rosters from top to bottom that had no quarterback. And everybody just assumes that they're weak at a lot of other places. They forget. It's kind of like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of a good example, but it's like nobody really realizes how powerful this machine is that's sitting in front of them because there's no driver. It's a race car that's faster than any race car on the track. It sits there for a year to 2 years, and everybody just forgets how fast it is. Now you get a race car driver to get in it, and everybody's thinking, it could be okay. It could be pretty fast. It's the fastest car on the track. If Cousins stays healthy, which is a big if, because he's coming off the Achilles tear. But hold on a second, Ron. If Cousins can stay healthy, then the sky's the limit for this offense because they have the right OC. This goes back to what I was talking about with Chicago, and it goes back to what I was talking about with Denver. If Fields, who I believe can be repaired and fixed if he goes somewhere solid, I don't think Fields will survive if he stays in Chicago with that horrible situation that's brewing there, or he goes to Denver where they asked their quarterback to rescind his injury clause or they were benching him when he was playing well. They should have a draft pick taken away for that. Sean McVay should have been fired for that. Or not McVay, I'm sorry. Sean Payton. Sean Payton should have been fired. Sean Payton should have been disciplined. The Denver Broncos should have been disciplined. How does Sean Payton ask Russell Wilson to rescind his injury clause or you're benched? That's like extorting him. And the NFL stepped in and said it was illegal, but they didn't take action. That's where Fields is maybe going to go. If Fields goes there, he's going to bust. And so that's what I was saying earlier. Is that like it matters where players go, and there's certain situations where if Cousins were to go somewhere, he could fail. If he went to Denver, I don't think he'd be successful at all. I think Cousins would fail in Denver. I think you've got to have the right combination of things. Zach Robinson is a recipe for success in Atlanta. You hand Zach Robinson Fields goes nuts. You hand him Cousins, he goes nuts. You hand Zach Robinson, Penix Jr., or Bo Nix, maybe it takes half a year. Maybe they're not quite contenders right away, but next year, Zach Robinson takes Penix Jr. and Bo Nix to the next level. Zach Robinson's the real deal. He is going to bring that Los Angeles Rams, Sean McVay system over to this Atlanta Rams. We're going to call them the Atlanta Rams, the new Atlanta Rams, and it's going to be marvelous. And Bijan's going to the moon. Bijan running back 1. We were a year early. It's okay. The shirts still work. You can still order the shirt right now on the merch store, on the YouTube channel. Just click on store. Go order yourself a Bijan running back 1 shirt. All right, Ron, real quick, and then I got to circle around. So 30 seconds. Go.
Yeah, well, I said it's going to be the greatest show on earth, part 2. You know, you had Kurt Warner with the Rams, and now you got Kirk Cousins with Atlanta. And here's the thing, and people might disagree, and I don't care, but it's better that the Atlanta's got Cousins more than Fields, simply because, fantasy-wise, that is. Cousins, he makes receivers. He's made receivers. He puts the ball around a lot more. With Fields, I think he hinders Bijan with his running ability, and he takes away from the players. So I'm more happy that Cousins is there more than Fields is there. I think Cousins is a better fit for that offense.
I don't mind either. I could have easily got behind both, but I hear what you're saying. Let me go back to Rob real quick. Rob from Hawaii. Go, Rob.
I ain't got too much to say, Smitty. Just have any recent moves happened since we've been talking?
Every second, bro. Singletary is with the Giants, which is unfortunate for him. So we got what else we got? We got I don't see much else right now. We'll be back though. I have a feeling we'll be doing one more live stream at the very minimum. So anybody else got any final words? We got Travis Rowe on the phone. We got Adam from Denver. We got Ron Navy and Aurora. Anybody got a final thought?
Yeah, I would just say a few callers ago mentioned that the Eagles, they may not win the NFC Championship, which is fine. I don't think so. And this is a broader point that I'm going to make, but it's because of last year. He was saying they collapsed, and if you look all year, they were playing close games, and ultimately they just couldn't keep that pace. But I will say everything that happened last year for any team, that's last year. Nobody gives a damn this year. I mean, even the Chiefs, who just won the Super Bowl, it's a completely different year. You got some teams with a new head coach, with a new OC, DC, like Philadelphia does this year. And you have all these pieces that are being – the NFL is a year-to-year league. So I think all these things like Kirk Cousins going to Atlanta and Saquon going to Philly, I mean, to talk about last year, it's over with. So we shouldn't be talking about last year. I think this year, these moves that we're seeing is going to be pivotal for this season, and I'm really excited to see fantasy-wise how they impact these rankings. So,
All right, thanks, Aurora. Appreciate you, pal. Later. Yeah, I think he makes a great point. Like, everybody's talking about defense last year or, this and that last year, and he's right. I mean, nothing matters. What matters is Kellen Moore is down in Philly. It doesn't matter how Hurts unfolded last year, whatever. I mean, it's a great point. Travis, final thoughts?
Did you get Rock Out Super Chat?
Rock Out says, Smitty, is today
too.
like Christmas for you? Absolutely, bro. Appreciate your $2 holler. Rock out to the freaking moon.
To the moon.
Any final thoughts on this news? Any of this news? We'll be back, I'm sure. As soon as something else breaks, we'll be back.
Yeah, from a more negative standpoint, I guess, with all this happening to the Giants, it really, really ups the chances that one of these wide receivers goes there and maybe survives, but does not have the season we expected.
Yeah,
to.
Ridley's fits the mold, bro. Poor Ridley. Everyone's gonna call Ridley the biggest bust ever, and he will be. Because he's gonna go somewhere where how is he gonna survive? How is he gonna get footballs? How is he gonna? It's gonna be Ridley's going.
You think Ridley will go there?
I mean, it's fitting. It's like let's go get a receiver.
I was talking about them drafting a guy. Or Neighbors.
They got to go quarterback though. If they don't go quarterback, the Giants really don't know what they're doing.
But do they? Well,
they have to.
Do they? What if the three top guys go though? You don't reach and take a guy at 5.
Well, there are people that.
Right?
But the thing is, I think they take J.J. McCarthy, who's not my third quarterback. So I think they screw up again.
And I'm not, again, for the Michigan fans that get all over me, I'm not saying he can't be a good starter.
Right.
He might
Either
be,
am I.
But taking him as a top 5-6 pick,
he's Jared Goff.
Just setting up for failure.
He's Jared Goff. Goff's a good quarterback. He's a good quarterback.
Yeah, setting you up for failure.
Yeah, it's drafting and it's drafting.
If you trade back and get him, okay, but
okay.
So that just worries me. I mean, they'd be smarter to maybe if they don't go QB right there, trade back and take a lineman or a defensive piece and start building out and take a QB either next year or in the third round or second round or whatever. But I don't think they will. I think you're right. So
all right, boys.
Maybe the young wide receivers get.
All right, boys.
Way, so.
I'll be back when more news breaks.
Smitty.
All right, appreciate you all.
I'll talk to you later.
Later, Ron.
Smitty.
Yeah.
Smitty.
Yeah.
Hey. Another tip. I think unless Dan Campbell gets out of his head and stops being stupid with his play call, it was his stupid calls. Green Bay takes the North this year.
Yeah,
I think with doing what they've done and with the young talent, especially Watson, if he comes back into form and the receivers that they got. Green Bay takes the North. It's going to be between Detroit and Green Bay, but I think Green Bay takes it because Dan Campbell can't get out of his own head.
Yeah, Green Bay's making moves. Green Bay's making smart moves. I like both teams. So it's going to be a dogfight. All right, Ron, appreciate you.
Later.
All right, Adam, Rob, Ron, see you guys all in the next one. We'll be breaking news when it happens. Appreciate you. Later. Okay, guys, I appreciate every single one of you. I'm out of here. I'll be back. There's over 400 of you still in here. Punch that thumb up button. Subscribe if you're new. We go live when big news breaks. I'm live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern. So we might go live before the 8 p.m. Eastern show. So see you all then.